If Joe Biden loaned his son money, that's great, but his son paid it back. If it were a loan, which it wasn't, he paid it back through influence peddling. Joe Biden knew the only place his son was getting money at this time. They said, well, he had bad credit. He couldn't afford his third vehicle. He already had a Porsche, Liz, at this time. He had a Porsche and another car. So this was his third car. And he's, apparently on drugs. I mean, should he be driving to begin with? But this is his third vehicle he had.
You know you're grasping at straws when, as a lead congressional investigator into your political enemies seeking revenge on behalf of Donald Trump, you resort to outright insults on top of the endless speculation. James Comer's now counting how many cars Hunter Biden must have had before he bought a truck. And he's ready to visit his drug dealer in hopes of confirming he was driving at the time. Maybe they can pin a retroactive DUI on him or something. He's also resorted to calling the people that aren't buying what he's selling ignorant.
The new claim echoed by Hunter's attorney is that the monthly $1,300 transfers were repayments for a truck payment that Hunter Biden was unable to finance himself. Congressman, are we supposed to believe that?
I mean, they think everyone's ignorant. They assume that the majority of Americans at the end of the day are going to be financially illiterate.
What was that about ignorance? And what was that last word, Comer?
I mean, they think everyone's ignorant. They assume that the majority of Americans at the end of the day are going to be financially illiterate.
Maybe he thinks iterate is the word, since he also thinks announcing new evidence while purposely leaving out information that dispels his entire accusation also makes sense.
Today, the House Oversight Committee is releasing subpoenaed bank records that show Hunter Biden's business entity, a Wasco PC, made direct monthly payments to Joe Biden. This wasn't a payment from Hunter Biden's personal account, but an account for his corporation that received payments from China and other shady corners of the world.
It leaves his supporters ready to conclude whatever they feel like, since he refused to add that the monthly payments were for a truck. According to CNN, the redacted document provided to CNN shows that an account affiliated with Hunter Biden paid Joe Biden $1,380 on September 17th of 2018. The document states the payments would occur on a monthly basis, and the panel is aware of at least 3 monthly payments to Joe Biden in total, a source familiar with the committee's work told CNN. But documents provided to CNN appeared to show that Hunter Biden was repaying his father for a Ford Raptor, information that had already been publicized. A source familiar with the payment told CNN that Hunter Biden's credit was low at the time while he was struggling with addiction, so he couldn't finance the car, and his father signed for the car, which was in Joe Biden's name. And there's Joe Biden standing next to Hunter and the car dealer, looking like a guy who just paid a whole bunch of money for a Ford Raptor. I'm still waiting for evidence that means something regarding the litany of allegations and assumptions they're going on TV to make as frequently as possible. See if you can find some evidence in the midst of all this speculation and anecdotes about personal experiences with criminals.
Anybody who's ever been around criminals or drug dealers growing up, when you start first sending money, it's always small. Little amounts to see how much noise you get. Then you make the big stuff. So they got to keep digging, because $4,000, you can make that argument. Oh, I was making a car payment. I was making this. So, but you need to look at the pile of keep going. It takes a long time to find money, but you will keep finding it. But this was during the Obama administration, where the President Obama was probably with the exception of Trump, the most scrutinized president. He had to be perfect. So all eyes were always on him, which led Vice President Biden to basically just be as corrupt as he wanted to be, because he knew no matter what he did, all the focus would go to Obama. So he continues. So we know he's corrupt because we saw the behaviors. We see the amount of money his family has. This guy was in public service for 50 years or whatever. He should never have this type of money unless he was doing other things. And the king of gas was not getting paid for speeches. So where was that money coming from? He was peddling influence through his son, through his relatives, knowing that he had the full protection of the first black president, because everyone was focused on that. And that's what bothers me the most.
It bothers him. Open and shut case. I'm still waiting for the evidence that really supports all of these theories they keep coming up with. And speaking of cases, he tossed Zero Halliburton in there for the dramatic scene being created.
You send $4,000 through the wires, but the Halliburton briefcase is hand-delivered. And we're seeing that with a lot of the Democrats are getting in trouble now, where they're seeing in their closets where they have stacks of gold and piles of money. Those weren't sent by wires. Those were hand-delivered. Yeah. So the paper trail is like, oh, it's only $4,000, but the $4 million was in Halliburton's.
What lies beneath?
Yes.
All right.
Bam.